WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often reviewing rare and exotic whiskeys. Jason, why do you have two different bottles from two different companies on the table? Well, it's actually not two different companies. It's two different distilleries and one company. The name of the company here is, and many people might not know this, Angus Dundee Distillers PLC, publicly listed company, Inc. All right, it is a privately owned company. So we can go all the way back here to the history of 1950 when the ex-Burn Stewarts, where did Billy Walker begin his journey? Burn Stewarts, basically. Oh, he actually did it before that. Oh, okay, who cares? There was the executive called Terry Hillman, and he was a Scotch whisky blending company for 50 years until the year 2000 when he and his company, Angus Dundee, purchased the back then silent Tomintoul distillery from JBB, Greater Europe. And that gave him access here to single malt. 3 years later, 2003, he bought the Glencadam distillery, which was founded 1825. So we have a bottle here with history. We have here 1964. So just 5 years basically older than I am, that distillery. And they have two distilleries, and they put out a lot of different products. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Big Ben blended Scotch whiskey. They also do the old Ballantruan, which is a single malt made, I think here actually, it's the peated version. They have a couple other things here that they do. They have large blending facilities there, and it's very, very nice. So let's go back over here to Tomintoul. Tomintoul actually released 3 new bottlings. I only bought 2 of them. We have the Amarone, we have here the Madeira, which I will compare to the Madeira also from Glencadam, and they actually had the Tempranillo, which I did not buy because I only wanted to do the comparison video of these two. All right, so but they have had a lot of interesting small batch cask finished products already. You can find them on my channel here. I did a review of the, I compared them all. Caribbean rum cask, cognac cask, Merlot, Pedro Jimenez, Pinot Noir, Tawny Port, and White Port. They already had 7, and they added 3 more. So they have 10 different cask expressions, finish expressions on the market. I must admit, I think that is awesome. Now, I love to experiment. I love to try things. I love to figure things out. And one thing I want to figure out is what influence does each and every cask have on a product. So if I have 10 different bottlings from the same distillery doing the same thing, I can see what Pedro Jimenez does to my distillate. I can see what White Port compared to Tawny Port, compared to our Amarone, compared to our Madeira, compared to our Merlot, compared to our Cognac, compared to the rum. That's fantastic. Now, Robert Fleming is the master distiller, master blender. He's been there for an eternity, and he's doing great, great, great things. Now, Glencadam has basically the same, but a little bit of different. So also there's a video online where I take the first batch that they put out last year, the PX, the White Port, the Tawny Port, the Merlot, the Pinot Noir, the Amarone, and now the Madeira. So they have 7 of their no-age cask finish series compared to Tomintoul that has 10. All right, so there's no rum so far here. There's a couple other things that are missing as well, but you could do 17 different bottlings and compare them with each other from this one company, let alone all the other products they put out that are age-stated. So I think that's awesome what they're doing for us and with us. All right, so thank you, Angus Dundee. So I have a little bit left here in my glass from my German video, which I'm just going to top off a little bit. I already did a bottle share, so something's missing here. I just opened the bottle here for my video. By the way, I opened it yesterday. I opened this today, so there's no time. It's the first impression of both of these. Amarone. Amarone is actually a region, northern Italy. There's a grape that they use there. They dry it like a raisin and then they make a wine out of it. So it's a very heavy, very sweet, very, very interesting wine that is produced in that one region up there between Milano and basically Venice. And I have been amazed at how many whiskey distilleries are using Amarone casks now. We know there's sherry casks that are those are, what do we call those? We don't call those finishing casks. The sherry is no longer, it's just mass produced. Port, especially ruby port casks now are mass produced, which means often the sherry that's in there is not used as sherry, it's not bottled. Seasoning casks, that's the word I was looking for. There are seasoning casks that are with sherry. There are seasoning casks for ruby port. I could imagine Tawny Port has some as well. I almost have the feeling there are seasoning casks for Amarone compared to how many casks have hit the market in the last 5 years. How long is the finish? I don't know. Now, the biggest difference over here in Germany, not in the UK, is, well, there's two big differences, is price. For some reason, the German importer actually charges more for Glencadam than they do for the Tomintoul. In the UK, the prices are the same. What's going on there? I don't know. Now, the second biggest difference, and maybe more important for most people out there, is the following. This says 46% non-chill filtered, no color added. This says 40%. For some people out there in the world, that's a no-go. They say, I want to have non-chilled filtered natural color. I do not want any chill filtration. I do not want any color added to my whiskey. Now, color added to the whiskey, it doesn't say natural color, at least I can find it. The Glencadam is darker. All right, so the Glencadam is darker, no color added than the Tomintoul here. I wish I could find something on the bottle or on the thing here, on the tube that actually says something about that. Unfortunately, nothing. It just says the natural dram. So the gentle dram, I'm sorry. The gentle dram is what we want. Robert Fleming is, for both of these, the master distiller. Distilled at the Tomintoul Distillery, So, we want more authenticity. Now, the question is, which one's going to taste better? And let's go over to the 40% first, and let's see what happens there. I personally like the design of Glencadam a little bit better. So I like the fact that all the information is here. Bam. On the side, there's nothing. You can see the color. Here, I never know on the tube, for example, where it's front. Okay, yeah, and then wait, and then, oh, yeah, there's something there, and then, it just doesn't fit on my camera like I want. Now, the label here, this is a higher quality of bottle. At least it's the old-fashioned bottle where you like to have very thick bottom at the here, weighs a lot. This, the Glencadam, is a cheaper bottle. From the design, from the glass at the bottom, this is the more modern bottle. This is what we want. We want less glass, more efficiency, less weight, more environmental consciousness going on in here. So this is actually the bottle of the future, and this was the old-fashioned bottle, which tried to show a little bit of, decadence. 42 euros, 46 euros. So 4 euros difference here. Why? I will never know. On the nose. Interesting. The first thing I get is a tiny, tiny whiff of sulfur, which I do not like. And I get a nice little red wine moment. I've had at least a dozen, if not even more, Amarone finished whiskeys from Scotland, from Ireland, from Germany. Could I pick it out blind? I would say, red wine. Is that maybe an Amarone? There's a 33% chance, 1 in 3, I would get this right. So, over here, the nose is just so much deeper. There's honey, there's grain, there's a little bit of wood spice. This is very, very nice in the nose, which I would also expect. Now, don't forget, Robert Fleming is responsible for both of these. The same company. So that means they're both no age statement. I assume, I might be wrong, I might be making an ass out of you and me to assume something. but I assume that they're using the same Amarone casks for both of these. Now, maybe Robert Fleming or one of his partners or whoever just actually puts his nose in each cask and goes, "Oh, that's a good one. That goes for Glencadam. That's only okay. That's Tomintoul." I don't know if there's something that divides them up there. All right, let's try this. 40%. No mention of chill filtration. No mention of natural color. Boo. That's a very good sipping whiskey. Amarone, very light, a little bit of tartness from that red wine moment. If you've never had an Amarone whiskey, a wine, please order a glass one day. Buy a bottle. If you're in a restaurant, you see it on the wine menu, order a glass and just try it. Go to your whatever place you buy your wine from and buy a bottle and try it. It's heavy. It's very, very concentrated moment. And it's, if you like it, it's good. Some people like it a lot. Some people go, wow, that's a lot of flavor there, concentrated all together. Um, I like. Am I missing something? A little bit more depth, a little bit more complexity. This is a great sipping whiskey. All right, the 40%, you don't have to think about it. It's got the Amarone. It's there. It's balanced. It's nice. This is, for me, a C plus whiskey. It's nothing to write home about. It's nothing to get excited about, but it's a good whiskey. Value for money, 42 euros, solid C. All right, would I like to see it for 35 euros? Yes. Do I still live in my memory of prices in the year 2008? Yes. But this is, yeah, absolutely fair in the pricing, absolutely fair in the product I can get here for 42 euros. The Glencadam. Love the nose. 40%, 46% non-chilled filtered, no color added, states on the label. An authentic whiskey, as Ralphie would say here. Mm-hmm. It is thicker, but what surprised me is the alcohol bite. It's not strong, but it's there. And there's that white pepper moment that just increases towards the end. It's almost as if, now I hope Glencadam didn't do this, but it's almost as if they ran the stills a little bit too quickly. When you do that, according to my information I always get online from other people as well, I'm going to have to research that more when I help other distillers when I'm there on that day and they distill. I can ask questions about that, the chemistry. I'm trying to learn whiskey and chemistry more. I need a couple more years, I think. When you do it too quickly, you heat it up too quickly, especially on the either on the stripping run or on the spirit still. You get a heat. You get that white pepper heat moment. I get this, and it stays the entire time. I feel, and this really surprised me, I feel that the Tomintoul, is the better balanced whiskey. I feel that the Amarone comes through here much, much more what I expect. Here, I get a lot of wood. I get a lot of oak spice. I get the heat and the tartness of the Amarone is there, but that's what I would like to. If I had the choice between the two of these, this is the one I would sip. I pay more for this. I have more alcohol in here as well, but the Riserva de Amarone from Glencadam with 46% just didn't convince me as much as this. Interesting. This is a solid C. I'm still going to give it a C for value for money, but I like that better. One little sip, and I'm going to add a little bit of water. I'm going to bring it down to 46, from 46 down to 40%, which I did not do in my German video, and see what happens there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Huh. There is more of a honey moment going on in there. It's not a bad whiskey at all. It's still a C solid C whiskey. But there's that alcohol burn, which I did not expect, which I don't remember from Glencadam 10 and other Glencadam products I've had here. Okay, 46%. Tried to bring it down to 40. Let's see what happens here, and I'll have that last sip of this as well. There is that creaminess, non-chilled filtered. This feels like it's chill filtered by 40%. Probably if you leave it under 46% and you don't chill filter, it can get cloudy. We don't want cloudy whiskey. At least the normal person in the supermarket does, and we geeks, we love that. That Scottish mist, that Irish mist, that cloudiness, and even Signature Vintage has a cloudy expression of some of their products, which is fabulous. Did it kill the alcohol bite at the end? It tamed it a little bit. But I like the balance of the Amarone here better than I do here. There's more tartness, there's more cranberries, there's more of that currant red moment. They have on both of these some of the tasting notes. I'm just going to read them real quick and you can make your own decision as well here. On the nose, we should have sweet aromas of cherry jam, marzipan, fruit and nougat, pistachio, bound with baking spices. Did not get any of that. That's just me. Okay. A wash of red fruits, crystallized ginger. Got a little bit of that bite in there. Strawberry licorice. Don't get the licorice moment. Mingled with oak spices. Got that. Candied peels and cacao. What type of peels? And on the finish, layers of cappuccino. Didn't get that. Dark chocolate, no. Morello cherries, raspberry jam, leaving a warming wood spice linger. Yeah, that wood spice is definitely there. They might be using more first fill barrels here than they did here for the initial maturation period, and then the cask, the finishing casks. Who knows? Was it 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years? We don't know. Give us information. We want that. All right, over here we have inviting aromas of cherry crumble. I'm gonna actually maybe sultanas and baking spices with hints of oatmeal jack flaps and cacao. I don't think I've ever had an oatmeal flapjacks before. So layers of a summer fruit pudding, raspberry kults, ginger biscuits, salted caramel with creamy panna cotta, and cedar spice. Cedar. Yeah, and finally we have here warming with impressions of honey, raisins, and pink peppercorn, leaving long lingering notes of chocolate and cherry liqueurs on the tongue. So I'm surprised. I'm going to do a second video in a moment here with the Madeira cask finishes and see which one I like better. I would not have expected that I like the Tomintoul better. The C plus with the versus the C here. That surprises me a lot. The little bit of finish here at the end with the Tomintoul. This is the sipping whiskey. That is nice. It's got a great. I don't love the nose, but I do like the taste. It's got its dialed in. Well done. Here, a little bit off. What is your favorite Amarone cask finish or full maturation? As I said, I've had at least a dozen, if not more, Amarone cask finished products in my life. Which one have you had? Which one do you love? Which one can you recommend? Maybe you can write down the whiskey base number if you want, so other people can take a look at that and see if they can find it in the local markets or not. If I were to buy one again, this I would buy instead of this. Who would have known? WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany. Bye-bye.